All right, welcome everybody to a fabulous re-release of one of our older episodes. I am re-releasing episode 5, sound-checked. Sound-check's not the word. We've been doing this for too long already. I know what I'm doing. Brent, what are you doing?
I am listening to you.
Brent is sending me eye daggers through the computer. Yeah, I am not winning. We should not record multiple things in one. Go ahead.
So, welcome to Sound Pollution. I'm your Uncle Brent, and I'm being joined by Ronell, the owner and CEO of Sound Pollution Podcast. Next, we have a re-release. These are older episodes for your pleasure. So, if you're traveling and you need to listen to it, what you can do is you can turn it on. And apparently there's going to be milder language. She must have totally omitted me from the entire thing.
You weren't in this one. This was before you. This is a re-release of episode 5. This is Audie the Monk. I specifically chose this episode and the other re-release we're dropping because I know a lot of people are traveling and may or may not have children in the car, and these ones had milder language.
And they were all yours. That's the funniest part about it.
They were all mine. But you've been listening to the podcast, though, since the beginning, so you've listened to these episodes.
I have.
You just may not remember them because we're up to like 100 and something now.
Man, we are active.
So here is Audie the Monk. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, download, share, and make some noise.
Make some noise.
So tell my listeners, who you are and what you do, and we'll just sort of go from there.
Well, I'm Audie the Monk. I'm a musician based in Asheville, North Carolina. Not originally from here. I'm originally from Illinois. But I've been here for 11 years or more. And I'm mainly a guitar player. People call it jazz, blues, soul.
Yeah.
Those are the categories I kind of fit. And I was a monk for 8 years previously, in my early 20s mostly. So Adi Purusha Das is my initiated name as a monk. It's a Sanskrit name. It means the servant of the original person. And so when I kicked off my solo music career a few years back, I decided to call myself Adi the Monk. I already go by Adi.
Made you interested in becoming a monk? Because that's not something you hear people doing every day. I'm curious.
It's certainly not something that you hear people doing every day, unless you're living in a temple. Then you sometimes see a lot of that going on. For me, it was the philosophical interest or desire to connect with our original consciousness, to understand our original consciousness, our existence beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond any temporary misidentifications that we might place upon ourselves. I had this feeling very strongly when I was in my late teens, like my last couple years of high school. I was kind of preoccupied with this idea of understanding our original consciousness, and it took me to the point of living in temples and practicing daily.
Where were you last in a temple at?
Well, I basically stopped being a monk in Nepal. I was in Kathmandu, Nepal in 2003 when I really completely stopped, I guess.
So do you think that, I know that it involves like a lot of meditation. Do you think that helped you with your playing?
Oh, yes. I think it's very much connected, very much closely connected, because the music is a direct expression of the self, or at least that's the way that I like to approach it. It's art. It's a direct expression of the self, of the soul. So certainly the attention that you put toward the soul and your relationship with the super soul through the practice of yoga, that's certainly going to come through in everything that you do.
Wow. Well, I wondered, because I know a lot of guitarists, and a lot of them would say that they feel most grounded when they're really like lost in their craft, and it's almost like meditation. So, and you said you were a monk. I wondered if they like intertwined with each other like that. That's really cool.
And when I play, it is a meditation for me. I'm generally playing in a meditative state. I'm generally not thinking about material gain or things like that when I'm playing music.
Well, I've watched some of your live stuff on YouTube, and your face has that, like, your lost face, this just peaceful, happy face. And I was like, oh man, he's in the zone. You can see it. It's all over you. So when did you start playing?
When did I start playing?
Yeah.
Well, we always had instruments around the house. My parents were a little bit musical. So we always had piano and guitars around the house that mainly my mom was playing. So I was always picking this stuff up. My first formal instrument was viola in 4th grade, but I just remember walking to school with my viola every day, wishing that it was a guitar. And I was really playing guitar, I think, by 5th grade. So about 8 or 9, I guess.
Oh, wow. Early.
It was early, yeah. And
really.
I had an older brother. He was 14 months older than me. He's since passed on, but we started playing together. So he was my first musical partner. My first few bands were with him, and we got into it together.
That's really cool. A lot of people I've spoken to said they started, writing fairly young. When you did decide that guitar was your thing, did you start writing almost at the same time?
Oh, absolutely. That was the whole thing for us, always making up songs right away. That was the real pull of it. I never got at any point in my life too much into learning other people's songs. Only when I've wanted to play with different bands, I've had to learn the songs that they wanted to play. That's it. Otherwise, I'm doing my thing.
Well, you're incredibly talented. I've sort of been grooving to the tracks you've sent me, honestly, all day.
Oh, that's so sweet. I got a lot more I can send you. One of the tracks I sent you is from my album with Bobby Sachs. So it's got last year's when I made that album, and I was just completely enchanted by horns. It's particularly John Coltrane, Sonny Rollins, Miles Davis. I mean, that's what I really, really like to listen to is I could listen to Coltrane, Sonny Rollins, Miles Davis every day.
Oh, for sure.
But that's what I was into. I can't do that myself, so I got my friend Bobby Sachs to help me with it, and he did an excellent job. The Good Rain is from last year, and then that's an 8-song album called Soul of the City Streets, and that's the one that's got our man Bobby Sachs on every song.
He's so good.
He played for Marvin Gaye. He played the last 8 shows with Marvin Gaye. A lot of other, big names also. He toured with the Jacksons. He toured with the OJs, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Maurice Williams. But yeah, he played the last 8 shows with Marvin Gaye before Marvin's passing. We've only played a couple shows together. We played an album release party for that last year. It was one of the greatest days of my life.
Oh, I imagine.
And we had a very lovely turnout, great people, and it was just so much fun. And we're not going to be able to do that this year because we're all on quarantine.
when did you choose that this was going to be your path?
About 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And it's funny, you know, I'm 44 years old. So
you don't look it at all.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I've always played. I've been in bands of different types always over the years. I've never gotten away from the instrument for very long, but I never tried to make any money off of it. I was in a band. It was a church band that played every Sunday. So it's actually an all monk band. We played at the temple every Sunday. So even when I was a monk, I was playing. I played in India. I played in
that
Israel.
That would be so cool to see.
What, the all monk band?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really have any video of it, but yeah, they were fun shows. We did it every week. We even played at a blues festival in front of the Arch in St. Louis. That was one of my favorite shows I've ever played. Yeah, it was a really good lineup of musicians that we had that day as well. I was playing bass. So I played all of the instruments in that band over a 2-year period. I started as a drummer, then their guitar player moved away. So I became the guitar player, then, you know, I played bass when we didn't have a bass player. So what happened was I'm a martial arts instructor, and I had a school. I had a commercial location and adult classes, teen classes, and kid classes. And I was teaching, at one point I was teaching over 20 classes a week, and I accomplished a lot of my goals in that field. But I got to this point where I realized that it just wasn't really that, I wasn't that passionate about it anymore. I was doing it more as a service or out of commitment to the other people in the community. But I realized one day that it wasn't really my passion anymore, and I didn't have any other goals that I wanted to pursue with that. So I had been playing guitar, and I decided to try to see if I could get a gig, and I ended up joining a band right away. And the band that I joined was with my favorite singer in town, and I just kind of got lucky right away. I played 8 shows in that band, and
awesome.
And the money was surprisingly good. So the gears started turning right away. I was like, well, I can make good money doing that. And that's what I really want to do right now. So I closed up my martial arts school so that I wouldn't have to pass up any opportunities to play guitar. And I'm still rolling with that 4 years later. It's just gotten better and better.
So you were already successful, and you were just like, this is not what I want to do. This is not feeling right in my soul.
Absolutely. My school was doing great. Even when I shut it down, my website, the lady that managed my website, she was like, oh man, we were just starting to get traction. Like
you're like, yeah, but I'm done.
Yeah, I'm out. I mean, I taught for a total of 10 years with the group setting. And I still teach, but I just do private lessons now. And I keep it to a minimal number of private students.
You have such a unique story that I don't even know where to start. I'm just letting you talk because I'm sort of, what an interesting path.
Yeah, my story's pretty jumbled up too, because I've done a lot of different things. Like I've lived in a lot of different situations and settings. I also lived in the Philippines for 5 years. My mother's from the Philippines. My wife is also from the Philippines. My first daughter was born there. My second daughter was born here in Asheville.
I saw the picture of your mom watching you play in her quarantine. I thought that was just the sweetest.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's my dad that took that picture, and so shout out to them. They're 2 lovebirds and very sweet and loving to us as well. So
that is so great. And you do a live Facebook show.
Ever since we got locked down, I started live streaming every Friday night.
That's good. I think people really need music right now.
Oh yeah, I thought so too. I'll be adding a Tuesday also. Right now I'm every Friday at 8, and I'll be adding an every Tuesday at 3. That starts on May 19th.
So how do I phrase this? It's such a weird question. I mean, I know you said you felt like you didn't have the passion for what you were doing, and this is what you needed. You needed to do guitar, but was there like a defining moment where you were like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing this over here?
It's more like I've always been one to follow my what I think is the right path. I don't want to call it my passion because that's like kind of like saying you're following your mind, whatever feels feels right. I mean, I understand there's going to be trials and tribulations in life, whatever your chosen duty or occupation is. But I always believe that we should pick the one that we love doing. When I was a monk, then you have the guru who tells you what your job is, and he'll basically instruct you and assign you according to your nature. You know, what's best for you. And I try, even though I don't take direct instruction like that from my guru anymore, I try to continue with that in that same spirit of taking work according to your nature. And guitar playing is truly within my nature. Martial arts is always, those are both things that I loved as a kid and that I always enjoyed doing as a kid, playing guitar and martial arts. So neither one of them is outside of my nature. It's like I still practice martial arts. I was making martial arts videos just right before this call.
Why not?
I'm not promoting my school. Somebody asked me to make a video for something. It's like have you seen those martial arts videos going around where they have like, this one's gonna have like 100 different martial artists from all over the world, and like you pretend like you get punched in the face, and then you do some move, and then you punch the camera, and then it goes to the next person. And
no, I haven't, but I want to.
Yeah. I'll make sure you see ours.
Who would you say is your biggest inspiration music-wise? And it doesn't have to be another musician. It's different for everybody.
It's tough for me to name. I'd like to be able to name a musical inspiration. I've always kind of said Hubert Summerlin as a guitar player. It's simple for me to answer it that way. I would say in my life, in the development of my guitar playing method or style, which is hard for me to change at this point. I just it's developed, but early on it was Hubert Summerlin, who a lot of people don't know him. I don't know if you do. He played for Howlin' Wolf, the most iconic bluesman, but because he was a sideman and he was Howlin' Wolf's sideman, Howlin' Wolf is such a prominent and outstanding personality. So he was kind of just in the shadows, and although he wrote a lot of that material, a lot of that music.
Tell me about the song Feeling You Gone.
Yeah, I love that song. The title, Feeling You Gone, yeah, basically just a song about separation, which is not just a mundane romantic sentiment, but it's also a spiritual sentiment, the feeling of separation. So that's kind of what the title is about. But as far as the piece goes, that's it's from a few years ago. That's from my Adi the Monk album, which was a 10-song album, self-titled, that I put out in 2018. I've done one album every year for the last 4 years, 2016, 2017. 2017, 2018, 2019, and then I got one in the oven right now, about done.
With that, what about now? Brown Cadillac is going to be on the new release, right?
No, it's not at this point. Not planned to be on an album, but it might be on next year's album.
Okay,
it's and that was not going to be on this one. Oh, it's just a little thing that I made up here when I was getting ready to do one of my first live streams, like my first or second Facebook live stream, and I just got this little idea. I can't remember how it exactly came to me, but I just put down the backing track and made sure that I had it done for that evening's performance. And I really liked the way that it came out. And
it's really good.
Yeah, so I've just played it a few times because I'm just performing once a week right now. So.
You make it sound like it's nothing, but that just comes to you like...
Oh, totally, it just comes to me. Honestly, it is nothing to me. I mean, I feel like I've always been able to do that. I know I get better over time, and it's not that I think I'm really good. I don't want to give anyone that impression. I actually don't think I'm a particularly good guitar player, and it's hard. Sometimes the biggest challenge is for me to just convince myself to keep putting it out there, to keep showing myself. That's the hard part. So when people tell me that they like my music, it actually really means a lot, and it keeps me going. It's super encouraging.
What would be advice you would give to an upcoming guitar player?
I would say I hope that you love your instrument. That's what it's all about. But it's about that connection between you and your instrument. Don't feel like you have to wait to get better gear before you can really start playing. It's not about the gear. You can have a broom with a wire nailed to it. And, shout out to my friend Tub Martin, who actually, plays a
Are you serious?
Yeah, he plays a tub bass, a stand-up tub bass.
Oh, that's great.
He plays for Abby the Spoon Lady, if you are familiar with her.
Yes.
She's a friend of ours. I've been on her radio program a few times. She's Asheville based.
I had no idea.
Yeah, she's Asheville based. She's currently in Kansas, I believe. Yeah, she's in Kansas with the guy that I just shouted out, Tub Martin.
Yeah, I saw her on YouTube, and I was like, "What is this? This is amazing."
Yeah, she's dope. She's really sweet, and she's helped me out and encouraged me a lot too. So I appreciate that. But yeah, as far as the advice goes, yeah, that's probably a good piece of advice is don't fret about the instrument. Just play what you have and love what you have. I love all my guitars. It doesn't matter if I had one that I got for $75 at a pawn shop, and I love it just as much as the more expensive ones.
So is there anything else you would like my listeners to know about you?
No. As far as me as Adi the Monk, that my album is almost done. I don't have the release date set yet, but I expected it should be out at the end of June or maybe in July. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's an 8-song album.
Awesome.
I've got my social media pages of Instagram, Adi the Monk, Facebook, Adi the Monk, and then I've got my website, adithemonk.com. All of my music is actually available on my website, adithemonk.com. You can order CDs or download. And I should mention that right now all of my albums are set to free for download. So you can get them all for free directly from my website. If you just go to the Monk Shop, which is the store page, and you go to the album of your choice. I've got 3 up there right now. Click the download button and it should just go ahead and give it to you. Oh, I'm going to write a book too after I get this album out. It's just going to be a short book about some interesting things that happened to me in India and Nepal as a monk.
Do you have any interesting stories you'd like to tell now just for the hell of it? Any musical monk antidotes?
Oh, musical monk antidotes?
Yeah.
Anecdotes.
Anecdotes, yeah, I'm sorry.
Anecdotes. Yeah, anecdotes. Let's see, as far as musical ones, that may be not an anecdote, but what happened was when I moved into the temple and became a monk, I happily gave up playing all of the Western instruments that I was accustomed to. I had been playing guitar, bass, and drums and playing with bands and jamming in people's garages and stuff like that. But when I became a monk, I put my attention into playing the kirtan music, which we use the harmonium, the mridanga, the 2-headed drum, and the kartals, the bells that you play with your hands. So those are the instruments that we use, and we chant the mantras, like the Hare Krishna mantra and other mantras. So I was like that for a few years, not playing guitar, not messing with it. And then, let's see, after a few years of living without playing guitar, I moved to Kansas City, where my guru started a seminary school, all monk college. I moved there to help him and to be around him. And the first thing that they asked me to do when I moved there, the first service that they gave me was they didn't have a drummer in their band anymore, and they needed me to play their drum set. So they said, they put me in this little room, like a big closet, and they're like, "This is your service to sit in here, play drums all day, and we'll tell you when it's time to come out and eat, and just stay here and get sharp." So I have my headphones on. I'm just trying to get sharp on drums. So the drummer.
That's an interesting way to learn an instrument. I like it. We're just going to put you in here. You're going to do this, and then we'll tell you when to eat.
I got then the guitar player left, so I became the guitar player. So I guess kind of what the point that I was making is that I gave up playing guitar, but then it kind of was given back to me. came back to me like that.
It came full circle for you.
Right. And the times in my life where I haven't had a guitar, it comes to me in dreams and people buy them for me. I've had guitars bought to me and given to me 3 or 4 times at least.
Sounds like the universe is like, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
That's how I feel. That's why I do it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Audie, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's great talking to you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by Sound Pollution today and taking a listen to our new episode. Again, I apologize about the big gaps between episodes right now. Like I said at the beginning of this, COVID sort of screeched everything to a halt, but it's getting more regular. I got a lot of great interviews coming up for you over the next couple weeks, so please keep tuning in like it's radio. It's not, but still. And if you like what you heard here, please check out Audie's website at audiethemonk.com. He is offering free downloads of all his music, and I want to thank him for that because I think this is a time everybody needs music to kind of like get us through it. For the links to Audie's social media, please check below in the description. Remember to support your independent musicians. They keep great music coming to you, even in hard times. So any way you can find to support them right now is wonderful. I also want to take just a quick second to thank all the essential workers out there. We appreciate you. Everybody else, stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm, and remember, make a little bit of noise.